What is going on, everybody? I am back today to talk about a season of television that I have been highly anticipating, and that is season 3 of The Bear. The Bear has become one of my favorite TV shows in the past 10 years. It is just absolutely incredible. The character development is amazing, the editing selection, the way that it's shot, the musical choices. It's just been such an easy show to immerse myself into and enjoy. And also, I went to school. I have two college degrees. My first college degree was in hospitality management, and my second college degree was in film production. And with my first college degree, I worked in a lot of restaurants and worked in a lot of kitchens. And I did that through most of my career. And so this world and this environment is very familiar to me. And what I love so much about this show is how, especially in the first two seasons, they really accurately depict what it is like to work in those types of environments in a way that doesn't pull any punches. And I find that so incredibly impressive. And as soon as season 2 ended, I believe FX announced the extension for 3 and 4, which I was very excited about because I think this show is incredible. So I sat down over the weekend, binged the entire season 3, and I'm really excited to talk about it with you today. Obviously, if you have not seen the first two seasons of the show, I will probably spoil some things that happened in the first two seasons of the show. So if you've never watched The Bear, this is my immediate endorsement to go watch the first two seasons of the show because they are absolutely incredible. But I'm very excited to talk about season 3 with you today. So if you were unfamiliar, at the end of The Bear season 2, there was a huge confrontation with Carmy and multiple characters, including his current girlfriend, when he got locked in the walk-in cooler at work. And it really created a wedge in between all of these characters that we have grown to know and love throughout two seasons. And the start of season 3 jumps us back in essentially right after the events of the show. And so most of this season is surrounding Carmy opening the Bear, his restaurant that he's always dreamed of opening, and all of the challenges and hurdles that there are running this restaurant, and how he thinks the only way that he is going to be able to compete with a lot of these upper echelon restaurants is to consistently change the menu every single day. And so that puts a ton of pressure on Sid and all of the other cooks in the kitchen and the front of house restaurant staff. And so we're creating a divide between these characters while simultaneously looking at all of the people in Carmen's life and how they are impacted by this restaurant and what's going on in their lives outside of simply working at the Bear. So as I said, I'm a huge fan of this TV show, and when this first dropped, it was met to a lot of mixed reactions. And so I was really interested to go in and watch this and just see what it was going to be like. And I thought this was an incredible season of television. And what really impressed me so much about this season in particular is the level of risks that this creative team took on this season. It is not more of the same. They are doing something entirely different. There are elements of what makes the show so great, but there's also so many little things incorporated into this season. It's a much more artistic approach. There is not a ton of dialogue in each episode of this season. Really, so much more about this is the incredible performances from these actors and what they are able to do through bodily movement and facial expressions. And I feel like they were able to unlock even more of a backstory in some of these characters that we've already learned quite a great deal about in two seasons. And overall, the thing I love the most about this season is that it's a love letter to service industry workers, and not only just a love letter to them, but showcasing everything that they have to go through and the insane mental pressures put on you to work in this type of an industry. And the final episode of this season just really spoke volumes to, the passion that goes into taking on this type of a job where you are spending your entire life at a restaurant. You're spending all of your time and effort and energy, putting your whole self into this so that you can be the best of the best, but also how much that takes away from you and how it strips away from spending time with your family and having freedom and There's so many incredible conversations that take place between all these chefs in the final episode, and it just felt so realistic and grounded, and I loved it so much. And the first part I want to say about this season that I just thought was so incredible were obviously the performances. I'm constantly blown away by everyone involved in this show. I think Jeremy Allen White and Ayo Edebiri being the focal point of most of the episodes, they are incredible, but the whole supporting cast in this show, I just think everyone was selected so perfectly and they fit their roles so brilliantly. There's an episode with Sugar, Carmy's sister, in this episode where she's pregnant and she has to go to the hospital. And the entire episode takes place in the hospital room, and it's between her and her mother that is portrayed by Jamie Lee Curtis. And the conversations that they have together, the camera is so close to them the entire episode. And everything is through their facial expressions and through their dialogue. And we get years of emotion shared between these characters in one single episode, and the complicated dynamic that these characters have with one another. And I just thought that it was absolutely beautiful, the way that it was shot, the way that it was written, the way that the episode paid off. The first episode of this season is a super big swing for any creative director because there's virtually no dialogue the entire episode. It is non-linear in its storytelling. It's jumping all over the place, and I just thought it was absolutely beautiful. It reflects on things we've already seen in the show. It shows us new elements of the show and kind of gets you settled in for exactly what this season is going to be all about. I feel like this season of The Bear is so much more quiet, and it's more nuanced, and it's much more about unpacking these characters and their motivations in an even deeper way, rather than it just constantly showcasing the chaos of the restaurant. It's kind of giving you they're struggling from day to day, but kind of pulling back outside of the operation of the restaurant and seeing how it's impacting the day to day. And then getting some episodes where we learn how characters got to this point and what it means to them now to be in this position. And I didn't expect it to be so complex. And honestly, I think the reason why this season is getting such mixed reviews from audiences is because of how much more quiet and stripped back of a season it is. It takes a lot more risks, and it takes a lot of swings in episodes. And for me, who's watched thousands of movies in my life and watches a ton of TV shows, I was really impressed. This was just like, you don't often see creators of TV shows willing to kind of stray from what they've done in the past to try to do something new. And I'll be interested to see what direction this goes in the fourth season based on the reception of this season, because I think that there's some hyper criticisms where people are like, oh, it's boring and nothing happens. But not every episode can just be pure chaos. There has to be more character writing. There has to be more unveiled about these characters so that when we introduce new conflicts in the next season, that there's more of a payoff. And I really liked where this season went, and I really liked the way that the episodes were written. I just really enjoyed this season a lot. There were so many standout moments. I was just thrilled that this director took so many risks and was able to make another incredibly engaging and entertaining season of television. I'm really interested to see where it goes. I was reading some interviews with the creative team and the director and showrunner Christopher Storer, who said that they filmed some things for season 4 right after season 3 concluded. So I'm really curious if we're going to have the same amount of waiting time between 3 and 4 as we did 2 and 3. But either way, I'm willing to wait because I just think this is a phenomenal television show, and I really hope you'll check it out if you've never seen it before. So if you watched The Bear season 3, did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. I thought this season was incredible. I really enjoyed it a lot, and I'm looking forward to see where the show goes in the future. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.